It's time to stop! It's time to stop, okay? No more! Where the parents? Who are your parents? I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. It's time to stop!
Welcome to our very new segment for the Injustice Podcast. Today, we will be looking at our new segment,
It's
Time to Stop! And we will be discussing franchises that really have overstayed their welcome, whether that's too many entries in the franchise or more so problems where it's like the studio keeps trying to churn out, just crappy quality films. So on our very first franchise fatigue segment, we will be discussing Fox's Fantastic Four.
Marvel's first family and why they can never get them right.
So starting off, we're not even gonna try to try to justify the original very first Fantastic Four. Oh
I don't
my
think
God!
I've ever seen that one, to be honest with
I've
you.
seen it one time,
Like, wasn't it like?
And we're not talking about the 2005 Fantastic Four. We're talking about
Wasn't
like
it in the same era, like with that really crappy David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury?
Oh yeah, that was
Like,
it was
like the
era, right?
It
was like the 80s to 90s. It was in the
It was
era
the
of Marvel
Punisher,
films.
like Punisher, that really crappy Captain America one, and
Well, I don't remember the Punisher per se. I think the first
with
Punisher.
Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, I forgot about that. There was so there was a Dolph Lundgren Punisher, a David Hasselhoff
bad.
Nick Fury. Who was that? He was like the son of that Daredevil, stunt guy, and that guy played Captain America, but he had he was so. Oh God, that was bad. And then
with the crappy motorcycle helmet.
Yeah, and
it
was the really. Anyways, that's the stuff of
Jesus.
nightmares. And then so was the Thing in that Fantastic Four film. Those were all basically that was one of the reasons all those films put together.
I was watching it a couple weeks ago. Didn't mean to cut you off, but I was watching it a couple weeks ago and I realized Ben's girlfriend in the 2005 one.
Kerry Washington.
Andrea. No, the original girlfriend.
What are you talking about?
The one that like broke up with him because he turned into the Thing.
Oh yeah.
That was
Andrew
from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until I went back and
I thought
watched
you were talking about Kerry Washington. I was like, well, at least Kerry Washington's in Scandal and she's doing pretty well.
She's doing good stuff.
But yeah, so where to begin? With the original Fantastic Four that aired, I can't remember what part of the 1990s. I think it was early 90s that it was released. It was one of the contributing factors to why Marvel actually had to sell off the film rights to a lot of its properties because they were going bankrupt.
That's a giant, we could do a whole video about why everything's sold off, because it's a laundry list of a bunch of different stuff.
But yeah, but it was one of the reasons it tanked. It was bad. You can't even find that film
Anywhere.
You can't find it on DVD. You can't find it anywhere.
I'm pretty sure you have to go to the dark webs to find it.
He's not lying.
And I can guarantee you do not want to go to the dark webs.
Oh, you want to go to the dark web? Just go there for memes. Don't go there for Fantastic Four, because
just
stay away
memes.
from Fantastic Four in general. But so we begin. I remember how much anticipation my father and I had for the original Fantastic Four from 2005, because they had, I can't remember too much about the trailers, but I remember sitting in the theater for, I can't remember what film it was, but they had the trailer for the new Fantastic Four film starring Lone Gruffer, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, Michael Chiklis, and who was the guy that played Doctor Doom?
He was on Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck, yeah.
That's all I know.
But he was actually decent. But no, my dad is one of the most unabashed, hugely
nerds.
For Fantastic Four. He has a whole bunch of Fantastic Four comics. he anticipated that Fantastic Four film more than any other comic book movie,
'Cause-
like ever. Like because they by that time before Fantastic Four came out, we had we had X-Men
Spider-Man
2, we had
X-Men
X-Men 1.
I mean, Spider-Man 1 and 2, X-Men
1 and 2.
and, I mean, like the thing that got like I loved about that era, like the early era of comic book movies, those 4 movies we just named off, Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, X-Men and X-Men 2, those
are in the echelon of really good superhero films.
Like they're 4 of my favorite films ever. Like when it comes to superhero movies, I mean, I remember when the first Spider-Man came out, I think I was in 3rd grade.
Yeah, I think we were both in 3rd grade.
I was in 3rd grade, and I was freaking out because when I was a kid, I was obsessed with Spider-Man.
Same.
Like I mean, the animated TV show.
Oh yeah, but like I mean, we definitely we will maybe get into Spider-Man down the line, but as far as Fantastic Four is concerned, I know for a fact that my father was super stoked for that movie, and I remember like leading up to it, I didn't know all the I wasn't really big into like the actors and stuff like that back then. It was just about seeing a movie.
I mean, we were kids. We weren't film buffs like we are now. I mean, because I'll be honest with you. The only reason I knew about those characters is because of the animated Spider-Man series in the '90s. Because they
your hand. Put it in front of your face.
Because because in the series they would have crossovers with Spider would have crossovers with the X-Men, Fantastic Four. I remember Doctor Strange was in there for an episode. So the only reason I knew about those characters is because of the crossovers that the animated Spider-Man series would have in it. So I was optimistic because so to me those are new characters. So I didn't know that what I know now, but like when I was a kid, I was like, oh man, that's another comic book movie. I can't wait. And me being 10 years old at the time, or maybe
well, it was 2005. We would have been 13.
Yeah.
So we were kind of we didn't so much that we didn't know any better. I mean, you look at 13-year-olds now, and it's a bit different in terms of like how 13-year-olds react to movies because back then this was 2005 compared to 2017.
There was no social media or anything like that.
Well, not just social media. It was like the quality of filmmaking. I mean, you try to compare Fantastic Four to something like. I mean, it's really unfair to compare them, but like compare Fantastic Four from 2005 to movies of this year, Guardians of the Galaxy, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man: Homecoming, all quality, amazing comic book movies that we had. Logan,
it's funny enough, it's because of those early blunders, like X3, Fantastic Four 1 and 2 will get
and Fantastic Four, Josh Trank.
Because of all those blunders, that's why like now we're just quality.
Well, what's kind of funny is that, which is really strange. The movies that we were just talking about that kind of really defined our love for comic book movies growing up. I mean, my first comic book movies were actually DC, which was like the original Christopher Reeve Superman, Tim Burton's Batman, the old Adam West Batman show. But I mean, Sony had Spider-Man, with Sam Raimi directing, and
which was
Fox,
amazing.
And Fox had X-Men,
which was great.
So Fox was doing this Fantastic Four film,
and everyone's freaking out.
So I'm like, it's from the studio who brought you X-Men and X-Men 2 United. So I'm like,
so it's got to be quality, right?
Good.
It's got to be good.
Wrong.
And then no. Wrong.
So
my best Donald Trump impression. Anyways.
But yeah, so just to discuss some of the things about the Tim Story directed, which Tim Story has gone on to direct a lot of lackluster films as of late. I mean, his whole career. I mean, I really hate to talk bad about a director like that. I mean, everyone's working hard on something. You never want to knock somebody, but I mean, you look at the films he's directed, they haven't been like, none of them have hit it out of the park with critics or with audiences. What the problem we had with Fantastic Four is there was a real problem with character development. They spent way too much time trying to just like have them doing things that like you didn't really have them have any kind of interaction in terms of like actually building that. I mean, it's so easy to write. I mean, they're Marvel's first family. This is one of Stan Lee's most beloved. You know, it was one of his first. Like that is the reason.
One of his first creation. I mean, one of the first.
Yeah, no, it is like
characters he made.
He was writing these smaller bits, and so his, I think his publisher at the time even said, because Stan Lee was telling the story, that he didn't like. He said, start doing more action and less characters. And Stan Lee was like, you know, he went to his wife at the time. This is way back in the '60s, and he was like, I feel like quitting. And she's like, well, how about you do one more, and when you do this one, actually, like, she's like, just do it the way you want to do it, and if they like it, then they'll do it. And he said, if they don't like it, then at least you got to do what you wanted, and they'll fire you anyways, or you can quit. And so that's how the Fantastic Four came to be, because Stan Lee almost thought about quitting Marvel, thought about quitting doing the comic books altogether. He wrote really well-developed, really well-rounded characters, you know, with Reed Richards, Sue Storm, Ben Grimm, and Johnny Storm, and then so that's, and so you have this like you have these characters that are just, they should be like easy to write because they're a family. They are all, you know, they love each other, and you could not care less about these characters in this movie. So I mean, but besides that, man, talk about how like just like how there was like no humor like at all. Like,
I mean, apart from the Ben and Johnny bits, which were my like parts of my favorite parts of the film. Aside from that, there wasn't. I mean, like Dom said, you didn't really care about these guys because I mean you didn't get to see them develop you didn't get to see them try out their powers during the montage and learn how to like properly use their powers. They just kind of rushed through that stuff in the beginning with the when they were at a ski resort or something like that.
Yeah, like they use like body jokes, like him flaming his clothes off to like be with the ski instructor.
So dumb.
And then like Reed's powers, the first time he really does anything is slipping his hand under the door, and Ben again, like Ben Grimm, the first time we see him like save anybody on the bridge, then the bird comes over and like poops on him. I'm like, this is what you're passing for humor and like making us care about the characters.
It was really stupid.
It was like when you watched it when we were 13, it was like it was cool.
I mean, it was funny because
13.
It was
immature.
It was 13, but that brings me to my next point. That rubber suit.
Oh God.
I think we should just leave it at that. Just the rubber suit. I think that's it.
Just look up Michael Chiklis, The Thing, and you can see. I mean, this was a film in the. Yes, this was a film in. I mean, I couldn't imagine them spending. You know, I mean, they obviously didn't have a big budget already because if they couldn't even afford to do any kind of like with today's effects, a lot of times you can do everything all in CGI, or sometimes they mix. You know,
CGI,
some practical effects, like with Star Wars, a lot of that is like practical effects and costumes mixed with some CGI to kind of add elements. But this was a completely rubber suit that's like Michael Chiklis is in, and it looked bad. I mean, like Star Wars, Phantom Menace, say what you want about that film, was released in 1999 by Fox and had way better CGI and practical effects than a movie that came out 6 years later. I mean, that's a problem.
All right, let's go from one Fantastic Four movie to the second one, which is the Amazing Spider-Man 2 to the Amazing Spider-Man. It was there was bad, and then there was worse.
So first things first, the title is like a complete misdirect. The title of the film is Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Well, the Silver Surfer, what is he rising to? He's not rising to anything.
He's rising to a plot point, because that's all he is.
He's literally a plot device. You take one of the most awesome, like, BA characters in Marvel Comics.
And very powerful, by the way.
And first things first, you take an incredible, I can't remember the actor, but they had a really good actor playing the role of Silver Surfer. They didn't even let him act as the Silver Surfer. They dubbed his voiceover with Lawrence Fishburne.
Like he was basically a. He was basically in like an emotionless robot.
It was
Kind
it was
of.
crap. Like
It was
because
really
you
bad.
have. I'm
It was
like,
really
why? I
bad.
understand. Then why don't you just get Lawrence Fishburne to play it? Like, why are you hiring a well-trained actor to just go on there and wear some silver body paint and then have Lawrence Fishburne for
Which was really crappy CGI, by the way. And
And
but
so there was
the
that
thing-
problem. There was the whole stupid subplot about the Fantastic Four breaking up, and I'm like, because Reed and Sue were getting married, I'm like, why are we focusing on this? You're having.
And, and on top of that, Doctor Doom came back, which was a subplot in and of itself, and on top of that, they introduced Galactus, and the thing is, when someone says Galactus to a Marvel fan, it's like Galactus, the
Destroyer of Worlds.
Yeah, the destroyer of worlds. Oh my God, he's gonna be in this movie, dude! I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, they really.
It was a cloud. It was a cloud.
Yeah, it was pretty
Like,
bad. It was really bad, but
Why?
okay.
Why Marvel?
You were making the comparison saying it was Amazing Spider-Man 2 to Amazing Spider-Man. I want to go a step further. I don't think it was that. I want to take a step back. Spider-Man 3. Because look at this. Okay, look at this. You have the Fantastic Four.
No.
Listen, you have the Fantastic Four. You're already shoving in a subplot with the military, having them trying to control the Fantastic Four.
The stupid line of you're the high school quarterback, and now you need the and.
I actually thought that was endearing because he actually finally, to me, that was a moment of character development for Reed Richards, because now he's not this he is still a nerd, he's still a scientist, but he actually stands up for his family, and he stands up for his his girlfriend Sue, or his fiance or whatever,
yeah.
and then he's like, hey, how about you stop picking on us, and how about you actually because how about you respect us, because we're out here, you need us, we don't need you.
Yeah.
And so they're so the guy's like, the general's like, okay. I actually thought that was actually well done, actually.
Yeah.
My problem was with that, I'm like, the problem was, okay, you have Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing that you have okay, fine, they're fighting the Silver Surfer. Then either have them fight Silver Surfer and Galactus, or have them fight Silver Surfer and Doctor Doom.
Well, here's the thing they could have done. Is okay, Rise of Silver Surfer. Okay, make him the main protagonist throughout the entire movie, and then at the
Silver
end,
Surfer.
Yeah, this is what could have been good. Have him and Doctor Doom fight the Fantastic Four, and at the end of the movie, you get a tease of Galactus rolling up, actual Galactus, not the
fart cloud that they came up with.
Yeah, actual Galactus rolling up to Earth, and then cut the credits, and then that rolls into Fantastic Four 3.
Well, I'm not even. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, well, I don't even know if they even. That's the thing, though. I felt like deep down, Fantastic, they knew that they probably weren't going to get a sequel, or if they did, they really. Well, actually, they must have thought they were getting a sequel, because they had that little tag where you see the Silver Surfer floating through space, and then he opens his eyes as the camera pans. But my thing is, it's
they wasted the Fantastic Four's biggest bad guy as a cloud.
Well, it's not even just they're big bad. They're big bad guys, Doctor Doom. But look at what they did. They threw in all these random subplots of now their powers are.
I'm pretty
in
sure.
Flux. Remember that? Remember the powers were in flux. So anytime they touched Johnny. No, Johnny, and that's what I'm saying. Johnny and
they would switch powers.
So him and Ben switched, and Ben became
yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
And then Johnny became the Thing, and I'm like, this is so stupid. How can you ruin Fantastic Four? They literally turned the Fantastic Four into a joke.
And speaking of which, let's transition to the dumpster fire. That was
which they didn't learn their
Fantastic
lesson.
Four
and that's so funny that you say that. I know you were like me. That first teaser trailer came out.
Oh, dude, I thought it was gonna be amazing.
So
so good.
Look at what was Josh Trank's film before Fantastic Four.
Studio interference. Wait,
No.
Oh, wait,
Before
sorry.
before Fantastic Four, what was Josh Trank's, breakout, Chronicle?
Yeah. It was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah.
Holy
it was
crap, Chronicle was so good. I do not care for found footage films. I feel like it's just this really weird way to
But
direct
they
a film
did it
to like
right.
it's like
Yeah.
because then I
Shaky
hate
cam.
shaky cam, and so but like Chronicle, the whole point and what was fascinating was it was a superhero's tale that wasn't really about superheroes. They had good character development between the two teenagers, which they had Dane DeHaan, Michael B. Jordan, and I can't remember the third guy. But you had a really well developed set of characters. You had a good story. You had good motivations for why they wanted, like they were high school kids. They wanted to use their powers for fun and for stuff. And then it slowly broke down, and that was like perfect for him to take over Fantastic Four. And he was a perfect choice. And that trailer was so awesome. Actually, I remember that year it came out. Fantastic Four came out with Avengers: Age of Ultron and Ant-Man.
I remember we like as it got closer to the date. Like I remember the day before, you texted me and everybody else, and we're saying, so are we seeing this? And I think everybody unanimously said no. I don't think we saw it in theaters.
I actually saw it opening weekend in theaters.
But I'm saying we didn't.
We didn't do the premiere.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about us, like our group of friends, we see every like Marvel and DC film without fail at the Thursday night premiere in IMAX. That's just something we love. We know that Marvel, like Disney's Marvel, is going to churn out great films.
Right.
And we keep hoping that DC will do the same. But with Marvel, I mean, with Fox's Fantastic Four, the 2015 reboot, we avoided that like a dumpster fire.
Studio interference, the movie.
Yeah, so I mean, there was reports from the get-go that Fox was interfering with Josh Trank's vision of his Fantastic Four film between budget concerns and the fact that the cast was fighting on set with the director, and that they were having rewrites on set, fixing scenes before they filmed them. I mean, there was so much crap with that film. But then when the film finally came out, they marketed all these big points, like there was these big action set pieces involving the Thing that were completely absent from the film.
And they said that they couldn't do it because of budget cuts or something like that?
It was because of budget cuts, but I'm like, you already filmed those scenes. They were in the trailer with the CGI work already, or at least the pre-CGI work done.
Why not already put it in the film?
I mean, like, they stripped away most of the action in the film. It was a snooze fest the entire way. You had, there was just these big edit cuts where you would jump from Reed and Ben working on something in a science lab, and then magically you're dealing with Johnny racing across town. I'm like, whoa, why didn't we? I was like, why is this just this plot points are just
that's another thing. The casting irked me.
See, I didn't have a problem with Johnny Storm because did you not like that?
No. Michael B. Jordan is a fantastic actor. He's one of my favorite actors. But I mean, I just don't see why they. And I think they based this one off the Ultimates. Aren't they like half brother and sister?
Well, they're not. It's no they're half. It's that Mr. Why can't I think of his first name? Professor Storm.
Yeah.
Johnny and Sue's
father,
father. In the Ultimate versions, he's got they adopted Sue, and that Johnny is his actual biological son, and Sue is just adopted.
And they did the same thing for this one.
And the same thing for this one. And so the problem wasn't necessarily with, to me, the casting, because I mean, you got some of the best up and coming talent, like some of the best young raw talent. You had, Miles Teller as Mr. Fantastic. You had Michael B. Jordan as the Human Torch. You had Jamie Bell as the Thing, and Kate Mara as Sue Storm, and then Toby Kebbell as Dr. Doom. And even then he was, remember, it wasn't even Dr. Doom. He was remember that there was the huge hubbub because he wasn't actually Doctor Doom. He was like
Victor Von Doom,
or no, that's his name,
Yeah,
Victor
that's
Von
his
Doom.
name,
but he was his name wasn't Doom. Like he was Victor something. Again, the movie's so forgettable that
just look it up.
Just look it up.
Just look it
up. So another problem they had was that this is in Fox's wheelhouse of Marvel films. Why wasn't it not connected to the X-Men franchise? Your biggest money-making franchise for Fox is the X-Men. And right the year before this came out, they had Days of Future Past, which completely
reset everything.
Completely cleaned up the timeline. So I'm like, you had the same writer with Simon Kinberg and producer,
but yet you're not going to include it and your explanation was, well, since we opened a portal to we can open a portal to the X-Men universe. Blah, 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 blah. No.
So
stop it.
So I mean, the problems with the X-Men continuity they already have crap with the X-Men continuity, but then you completely botch, an opportunity to connect because they kept saying they wanted an X-Men and Fantastic Four crossover at some point.
And that's never gonna. I mean, now that huge jacked man is retired, that's never gonna happen.
Well, it'll happen. It just won't be with Hugh Jackman.
Unfortunately.
I don't mind. Like I said, I'm all about someone's got to. I think they should take a break from Wolverine. Honestly, I mean, but sticking to Fantastic Four, then the character design. You should have learned from the very first entries in the Fantastic Four franchise. The Thing back in 2005 looked stupid. So why don't you improve him and make him look good in this one? Oh wait, you're just gonna have him be a giant CGI,
naked
rock with like no defiant features. He just looks like a bunch of boulders stuck together, and I'm like.
And also, it's clobbering time. That's a traumatic memory for the kid.
So, yeah, like.
What are you doing?
Yeah, like his memory of it is him getting beat up and abused at home, and
by
that's
his brother.
And I'm like, so we're gonna turn this into a positive spin now, like. Anyways, so. Terrible for 2015 when we had films like Avengers: Age of Ultron. Again, yes, that's produced by Disney. Ant-Man is produced by Disney and Marvel. But I mean, again, you just had X-Men: Days of Future Past, and before then you had X-Men not X-Men Origins, X-Men First Class, two stellar X-Men films, and
which
I'm like,
had very good CGI
and very good production values, and I'm like. Why? I'm like, what is the problem with getting money for Fantastic Four? Like, why does the Thing look like crap? Why does Doctor Doom have his suit is fused to his body?
And also, I mean, again, no chemistry for the character. I mean, the experiments were monotone. It was depressing.
Yeah, like again, and that's what I'm saying. Like Fantastic Four is like, it's Fantastic Four is like what Superman should be: bright, colorful, fun, charismatic, hopeful. And it's like, and like every scene in Fantastic Four was like Chronicle. It's like everything's like grayed out. Everybody's like no one's smiling, and no humor. And like like their biggest attempt at humor is in the very end of the film when Ben is like, it's fantastic, and he's just like,
that's how you get the name.
That's how you get the name. Is he's like, this is all four of us are fantastic together, and I'm like, and I'm like, oh, and then the logo, what was that? Fanned Four Stick. They replaced the A with the 4, and I'm like, why did you make?
And also in one of our last points, fighting fisticuffs for the finale. Let's not use our powers. Let's just fight them. Just fisticuffs.
The ability to shape to any form. The ability to.
Why I oughta Dr. Doom?
You have a physical.
Come on.
Physical like enhancements. You're the Thing. Flaming. Fire abilities and the ability to fly, to create, shields. and
force fields
and you're gonna now Reed is gonna punch Dr. Doom. Sue is gonna try to force punch Dr. Doom. The Thing is gonna punch Dr. Doom, and Johnny's gonna throw fireballs and punch Dr. Doom. And I'm like,
flaming punch.
And I'm like, why are we having?
I was kind of expecting like.
Let's have a giant battle with the Kool-Aid portal.
Well, I was gonna say that I was kind of expecting Johnny to yell Hadouken at some point. Just for
oh my
shits
God,
and
do a
giggles.
Street Fighter.
Like,
I would almost have
come on.
preferred that, you know, to have
Hadouken.
just for them to like totally not
come
even
on.
like just if they automatically stopped caring to begin with, so might as well go the extra mile and just keep up. But I'm like, they took themselves way too seriously and tried to make this movie way too serious. They tried to make it like a drama. There was not fun in a year where we had Age of Ultron and Ant-Man, which were two different Marvel films, but you had
different flavors, but I mean they worked.
But they had good humor. They were fun. They were entertaining. They had great production quality and production value. They had great marketing. All of these things that Fantastic Four did not have. They didn't even have one of them.
It's insane.
It's completely
crazy.
It's completely
really.
insane. So I mean, it's a terrible beginning, middle, and end. Just
so
oh
Fox,
my God.
Let me give you some advice here. This is what you need to do. Strike a Sony deal with Marvel, and either give all the characters you have back, including the Super Skrulls, and let Marvel do what they do and make good properties, make good movies. So I mean,
I definitely think that you need to have some kind of, you know, at least some oversight. Like obviously, Kevin Feige and the folks at Marvel Studios have a way better grasp on the Marvel characters than Sony has over Spider-Man and Fox has over Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, they just need to share some ideas, share some character rights, because obviously, you know, they can't, for whatever reason, they can't do it. And now they just recently announced at Comic-Con this year,
a Doctor Doom standalone.
a Doctor Doom
Why?
standalone. Like, if you
Why?
can't make Fantastic Four work, and you can't make Doctor
Unless-
Doom work
unless
in
it's-
that Fantastic Four movie,
Unless it's
why
like the only way you can make this work is if it's a Victor Von Doom origin story, not a Doctor Doom origin story of like how Victor Von Doom like came to be. So,
Which
like,
even then, why would you
do that?
Why would you make that movie? Like, I can understand that being a television series, but again, it's just like, to me, this is just Fox's bid. It's like them trying to grasp for straws.
Well, I think they've got to make a Fantastic Four property movie like every
5 years.
5 years.
It's the same thing with Sony. Sony has to make a Spider-Man film every 5 years, or in the Spider-Verse every 5 years.
But anyways,
it's time to stop. Like,
yeah, I mean, Fox. I think it's. I mean, Don,
God.
shall we? 1, 2, 3.
It's time to stop. It's really embarrassing that Fox has gone on this long with Fantastic Four. I mean, that's
And they just can't
four
get it right.
four failed attempts.
3. No, wait.
There's 4 because you
Oh,
have the
yeah,
original
yeah, yeah.
1990s, 2 Tim Story films, and then Josh Trank's version. Fox doesn't know how to handle it.
I'm hoping.
Clearly, Simon Kinberg, who is great at X-Men, is not great at handling Fantastic Four. They need to really take either, if you're not going to give the rights back to Marvel, just take a breather on it. You have several years. Don't just
figure it out.
Figure it out. Put it on the back burner. Focus on X-Men. Focus on something else. Stop trying to make Fantastic Four happen, because it's clearly not going to work, and it clearly needs to die, or it needs to go back to Marvel, because like Disney Marvel, because there's no helping Fantastic Four. They can't get it right.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. Join us next week for our next video in the series. So, until next time, nerds.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. We hope you liked it. Let us know that you liked it by liking the video, commenting below, and subscribing to our channel for more future content from the Injustice Nerds Among Us podcast.
And look at the description below to follow us on Facebook, Snapchat, and Instagram for behind-the-scenes videos and video updates.
And we really hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.
See you guys.